What's good, YouTube? Card Fight King here, Aqua Life Baby. I already know how it is. Today, guys, I got a Digimon TCG deck profile for you. This is going to be my blue source control Hexeblaumon list for the BT5 format. This is going to be the first of a few different BT5 deck profiles we're doing now. We're going to be practicing for regionals. Definitely, obviously, my main color is purple. We're obviously leaning towards that. But Hexeblaumon is right next up on this list, and so you're going to see me play this deck quite a bit. But first and foremost, big shout out to my boy Ice Barrier. He really actually helped me learn the philosophy behind this deck and kind of how you want to like approach this deck with other matchups and play it. I was playing this deck more like a versatile purple type of deck, but not as a more control reactionary type of deck. And once I really changed up my philosophy, changed around a few of the cards in the deck as well, you know, instead of me getting my butt kicked left and right and not knowing what to do, I really started to understand how the deck wants to be played. You know, how to utilize certain things, and you know, as I continue to play test, make changes and things like that, I've really come into my own with it. You know, I feel like I'm trying to, you know, come into my own with it. But really big shout out to Ice Barrier for really helping me out with everything for it. He's a great player, and you know, he's my go-to for anything Hexblau related. Yeah. But I want to get into the deck list for you guys. Hope you guys enjoy. The eggs, obviously. 4 Upa, 1 Sunomon. Upamon gets to go off way more often in this deck. Again, you're blowing up so many sources in this deck. Upamon just goes off so much, being able to draw you the card when you attack. This is just the best egg. Sunomon, this can be any egg, but I just chose this to help swing over things in the field of play, add a little bit, you know, give me a little bit more control. But you can play like Wanyamon, you can play, I don't know, well, not really the Vmon because she's not really restanding, but you get what I'm saying. Really one of those 2 eggs. For the rookies, we got 4 copies of Blukomon, 4 copies of Gomamon. Now, these rookies pretty much do the same thing. When you trash a source, you gain a memory. Between these 8 cards, you gain a lot of memory. And Gomamon's kind of hard to get if you're just starting out, because he came out like in this like little promo book that they had during set 1. But both of these cards, you just gain a memory and do it, and you can proc you can proc multiple instances of these for as many you have on the board. So if you have like 3 Gomamon and 3 Digimon on top of them, you trash a source. Each one goes off, gain a bunch of memory. This deck can really turn some of your Digivolution costs into free costs or reduced costs just because of that memory gain. So that's really strong. You definitely want to make sure you play these 4. Playing 3 copies of Syakomon and 2 copies of Gomamon. Gomamon's in there just because it's a cheap rookie to play. Syakomon I treat as like the Gazimon of blue in a way. He may get cut down to 2 though, but what he does is he says your opponent cannot reduce, during your opponent's turn, they cannot reduce the Digivolution cost of their Digimons. So like Nokia and Digizorption, things like that, get shut down. So you can just let him sit there and do what he needs to do, kind of like we do with Gazimon. And he's 3000 DP, which is not horrible. I'm playing 1 Tobimon and 3 Gorillamon, probably because I'm a little lazy to find the other Gorillamon. But Tobimon's a card where it functions the same. 1 cost Evo. But I can hard play this for 3 and then go into like a 2 cost Mega or something like that. It's just a decent card overall, and I just wanted to just tech him in to see how he played out. Plus, when you hard play him, you don't always pass turn like you do with Gorillamon, or at least pass turn for a lot. 2 Lobomon. For me personally, I love Lobomon. It's my favorite from the Frontier season 4. But Lobomon's just really good. Fits my playstyle. You know, I play Imperial Vmon all day, every day. But when, since we're playing a lot of Tamers, I feel like 2 Lobomon's just really good just for that sneak attack where, your opponent thinks you swung out, and they guard the way they guard, but then you sneak in a Lobomon and you can use Hexeblaumon like he's an offensive lineman, prevent your opponents from blocking it, and then he has a clean strike at the opponent's, for game. So that's why I like Lobomon. He's just really in there for that, kind of like sneak play, anything like that. Otherwise, he's just a 2 cost to Evo. And then I got 6 blockers. 1 cost blocker for 5k, easy to go into, and then Grizzlymon because he's just a classic blocker. Any 6k, the 6k actually gets around like Shoutmon, things like that. So like Nidhogg and whatnot. So it's a pretty stout blocker. I want to probably increase it to 3, but that'll probably come with some more testing. For the level 5s, We have 2 Manzaimon. You can play Shacklemon or like Zudomon or something in this place, but I like Manzaimon just because the 2 cost Evo cheap, 5 cost to play out. So not definitely not bad. Doesn't pass a turnover by a lot. He's easy to call out, easy to go into. So this is what I've been testing out right now. Again, subject to change, but I like the Manzaimon. Garurumon. He goes off more often now than ever before. He's from the trial deck or starter deck. When you swing, his inheritable gives you security attack +1 if your opponent has a card with no source. Adds a lot of pressure to their security. The same with Chris Paildramon. Has the exact same inheritable, but when you Digivolve into him in the battle area, you get to wipe 1 source from the bottom of all your opponent's Digimon. Really, really good. Procs the Gomamon and the Blucomon, so like I said, you can gain that memory back from doing that, from Digivolving into him. And again, he has the Garurumon source ability too. So overall, just a fantastic card. Going into the Megas, 3 Vikemon. This can be, whatever Mega you want. Doesn't matter. I mean, I even thought about cutting down to 2. But Vikemon is just in there because I wanted to really use him. I didn't really get to use him that much. Set, I think, like 1.5 and then set 4. Just really, source control just wasn't good. He's not really like that nice controlling boss. He's like kind of like an aggressive type of Digimon where when you swing, he gets a 1,000 power and an extra security attack. 4 costs even to go into, 13k body, gets an extra security attack on top of like a Chris Pale. He swings for 3, so can be pretty good, honestly. But he's just a testing phase. You can run a lot of different things, even Plesiomon I've seen, All Force. I'm just testing him out because he kind of fits the playstyle a little bit more. It adds that security pressure. But the star of the show is 4 Hexeblaumon. You're the star, so you get the mat to yourself. This is such a great card. This is the card that all source control blue players have been waiting for. Like, honestly, this is a really good card. When attacking, you trash 2 sources from under one of your opponent's Digimon, and then he gains jamming if your opponent has a Digimon with no source under it. So you check to trash 2, and then you check to see if your opponent has a card with no source. If there's no source, he gains jamming. That's insane for a card that can just stick to the board and keep swinging. The other ability is during all turns, if your opponent has a card with no source, it cannot attack or block. So, like I said, he can let Lobomon in for game because your opponent can't just sneak block him. You can't block him. This allows cards like Chris Paildramon to go out. So you swing with jamming for 2 security. So it's almost like 2 attacks. It's like restanding with Imperial, except with just 1 attack. He's actually an insanely good card. Definitely a card that is definitely going to be probably a very popular choice at your meta. I know in my area, I think this is going to be a very popular deck there as well, but for good reason. He's just such a good card. Level 7, playing 2 Blitz Omnis. Basically, Blitz Omni is there to end the game, kind of like Lobomon is there. I treat him as the same thing the way as Lobomon. If I'm on a Mega and I can Digivolve into him and swing for game, that's great because when you Digivolve into him and the turn passes over, his Blitz activates, letting you attack the opponent. And when you Digivolve into him, you restand your Digimon anyways. So he's always going to be really just an extra attack. And then you can trash a level 6 under him to prevent him from leaving the board. By a card effect. It does not work against yellow because yellow deletes by game mechanics, not card effect. So, yeah, yellow gets better, right? 2 copies of Takumi Aiba. This is straight from the Book of Ice Barrier. Aiba is a really good card. If either player tries to swing with a rookie, they lose the memory. And when you Digivolve, in the battle area, you rest him and you draw a card. So he lets you basically draw 2 cards for Evo. And you draw for Evo, game mechanic, and then you rest him to draw for his ability. Simple, and he's a 2-drop tamer. Simple, easy to go into. But you cannot Digivolve Lobomon on top of him because he's a white tamer. It has to be a blue tamer. 4 copies of Sora and Joe. Sora and Joe is the tamer that we've wanted for source control for so long. Way better than Matt. During the start of your turn, if your opponent has a card with no source, you gain 2 memory. So your opponent can put you to 2 memory here. This will put you to 4 memory. and then multiple instances of the card will activate. And then when you swing with your blue Digimon, you can rest this tamer and trash 2 sources under one of your opponent's Digimon. Literally, this is Hexeblaumon as a tamer for the attack. Just trash 2 sources. Such a good tamer. Getting multiple of them out is insane, and you can gain you can definitely start off your turn with a lot of memory if your opponent, isn't forced to Digivolve or just doesn't Digivolve, and you got these guys on the board. This is the tamer that really we've wanted, way better than like Matt, even though Matt's a memory tamer. With the way that this deck plays and the way it controls, you gain so much more mileage out of this card. And then I run 2 copies of Absolute Blast. So Absolute Blast became one of my more favorite cards for it. Basically what it is for a 6 cost, you trash the bottom source of one of your opponent's Digimon, then you choose one of their Digimon that has no source, and you send it to the bottom of their deck. So Kokaya's Breath is also another good option here, because it can bounce anything back, but Kokaya's Breath, to me, just delays the problem, where it just bounces back to your hand. This card sends it to the bottom of the deck, so they're pretty much not going to see it for the remainder of the game, most likely. And to me, I think it's just really good removal for this style of deck, getting rid of your opponent's sources consistently. This is just really good removal for that. So that's the deck profile, guys, for Hexeblaumon. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. You already know we got purple coming up. I'm 2 cards away from max rarity Chaos Gallant. Just missing 2 alt-art defeats and we're done. But other than that, I got some more deck profiles. Update to Dan Devi, Blue Imperial update, all that coming out soon. So definitely like, comment, subscribe. Aqua Life Baby. This is Hexeblaumon. And the road to regional starts soon. We got regionals on the 14th. I'll be streaming it on Twitch. Let's go.